Okay, in this video, we're going to be going over all the Amazon fees, breaking it all down. And guys, if I would have just done this in literally 10 minutes, I could have saved myself $168,000. I'm not lying, and I'll show you how in this video. So just going to go over a quick overview of it here. Yes, like I said, $168,000 I could have saved in actually 2 minutes. It would have taken literally no time at all. So we're going to be going over all the fees. So in general, there are two types of Amazon fees. There are the fees that are applicable to all sellers, and then there are fees that are for the FBA program. And you guys, by the end of this, I hope that you understand that every fee that Amazon charges is pretty much worth it. And then we're going to be going over the pitfalls that you will run into with these fees, so that you make sure when you're sourcing your products and choosing how they're packaged and which ones to source, that you fully understand how these fees work. Because if you get this wrong, it can make the difference between, like, literally 1 inch in your product can make the difference between it failing and it being very profitable. So we're going to be going over all the fees right now. So the first one to get into, we're going to be getting into, all right, so here's just the dirty laundry list. So we have the selling on Amazon fees. So these are applicable if you are fulfilled by merchant or fulfilled by Amazon. You're going to have the monthly professional selling fee. This is only applicable if you are a professional seller, but you should be a professional seller. If you're an individual seller, it's just not worth your time. Then there's referral fees. So Amazon's always going to take a percentage. We'll be going over those, and they're different for every category. And this is how I would have made $168,000 more if I just would have chosen a different category. And going back, I actually cover how I'm getting that money back, but that's a different story. Anyways, then there's a refund administration fee for just Amazon taking the credit card processing of refunds. Now, the next one that we're going to go over, there are the FBA fulfillment fees, which everybody, in my opinion, should be doing fulfillment by Amazon unless you have a very large product. So we'll be going over that. And then so there's the pick and pack fee. So essentially all that labor going into the picking and packing of your product, and also the shipping. And then there's storage fees. So there's monthly storage fees, and then there's long-term storage fees. And then there's going to be removal orders for, let's say you get returns and you need those returned to you to process, you're going to get a fee for that. Then there is inventory placement. So if you want all of it shipped to one Amazon warehouse, but we'll talk about how you can pretty much avoid those fees and still get all your stuff to one warehouse. That is in the shipping section. And then we are going over, there's an individual stickering fee. So if Amazon were to put on your stickers for you, because you need a special sticker for Amazon so that they can process your inventory, they'll charge you a fee for that. But we go over that in the shipping section and supplying, or no, we go over that in the sourcing section. So your supplier should be doing that for you, or if you're doing your first order, you could do it yourself for a lot cheaper than Amazon will. But we're going to be going over what fees you can expect, and then hopefully by the end of this you understand these fees are worth it, most of them, and then we'll help you save on the ones that you should not pay for. All right, so now we're going to get into the selling on Amazon fees for Amazon sellers, FBA or FBM. These apply to all. Okay, so the first one is going to be the monthly subscription fee. Okay, so it's going to cost you $40 per month to sell on Amazon as a professional seller. But don't worry, you're going to make way more once you get a profitable product up there. I don't even take this into account. This is just cost of doing business. So here's a trick though. So if you are, I'll probably add this as another video too. If you are going to be selling, don't worry about signing up for this fee. Essentially, make a professional seller account so that you can get fulfilled by Amazon. Then what you're going to do is wait until your product gets in there and you start selling, and then say, hey, send in a request to Seller Central and say, hey, I wasn't selling, I got charged for 3 months of the professional selling plan and I never actually sold anything yet. Can you refund me for that? I'm looking forward to selling on the Amazon platform and doing business with you guys. And as a courtesy, if you make a nice email, they will just refund that to your account. So that's a little hack that you can do. Then there are going to be a referral fee. So this per item. So if you had an individual seller account, you're not going to be able, actually, no, maybe you can sell on Amazon FBA still. I don't remember. I don't know. You have to look into that and read this. But anyways, I've never sold on individual personally, so I've just always had the professional account. You get charged 99 cents per sale if you're on individual, but you want to be going professional. So let's talk about referral fees. So essentially, Amazon takes a cut of all sales. All right. So they have fulfillment by Amazon, so doing the shipping and stuff, but then they have referral fees. So if you're selling even fulfillment by merchant, you're going to get these fees, and they're different between each category. All right. So really pay attention to this, because sometimes most categories have 15%, but some have a lot higher and some have lower. So for example, it may look profitable to make like an Amazon Echo accessory, but it might not actually be because they charge a 45% fee on that category, and that's quite steep. So definitely take that into account. And then just some other ones here: camera and photo, cell phone devices, and consumer electronics. Now, these don't all fall. So typically accessories for any of these are going to fall into the electronics category and be 15%, but sometimes you can get so typically it's only for devices that they're going to give a lower fee, because they understand that a lot of companies will sell consumer electronics at a very thin margin, and they want to incentivize you to get those on there because they make their money on the back end. So this won't be applicable to most of you, especially if you're a new seller. Don't try to make a new electronic device unless you really know what you're doing. So we're going to have that. And then what else have we got in here? Yep. So pretty much everything's going to be 15. Personal computers. I actually had a computer flipping business, and I really benefited by this 6% because I did that. And then I actually did fulfillment by merchant on this because the FBA fees I had to ship in this big computer, and then the pick and pack fees, it was oversized. So it was actually going to cost me about $80 to do it by Amazon or more, or I could do it all for like $20 myself. And then it was actually much easier to do that. So that's what I ended up doing. And then I had control over the returns. So we'll get into that though once we get into the fulfillment by Amazon fees. But yeah, pretty much everything else here. But you'll notice in the industrial, here's where what happened to me. There is this industrial and scientific, and this is only 12% fees. And I did 5.6 million in sales or so after refunds and canceled orders. But this 3% on that, it was $168,000 by just choosing a different category. So there are some fringe ones here where you just want to take into account the different referral fee, and definitely be taking that into account when you're calculating your profitability when looking at going in. So these are the general fees, and then there is going to be basically you'll get a fee if you have over 100,000 listings. So I mean, this will apply. Like, don't just be aware if you're uploading like just catalogs on catalogs of products, then you're gonna run into this. But if you're taking this course, you're probably not doing that. Anyways, yep. So then the other fee is a refund administration fee. So this is either going to be $5 or 20% of the referral fee. So this is just like the fee that they charge you for processing returns. So just take that into account. And then there's some special fees for watches and jewelry. If you're selling in those, make sure to go ahead and read this. The link will be down below. All right, so now we're going to get into the FBA fees. So these are the most important ones to take into account where a lot of people run into issues. All right, you guys, so these are the fees that you're going to have to take into account. So the most important one is the pick and pack. So essentially, you're going to get charged off the dimensions of your product as well as the weight. So when you're looking at this, you might be right on the edge. So it's important to talk to your supplier if you're going to be right on the edge to see, hey, is there any way we could make our product a little bit smaller? Or is there any way that we could make the weight a little bit less so that you don't go into a new category? Now, these can actually be quite significant. For example, when I went from, one of mine got incorrectly miscategorized and went from 319 to 471, but I sold 30,000 of those. So that was a $50,000 fee change. Now I've gone back and doing reimbursements for that. So if you're incorrectly charged on any of these, watch my reimbursement videos so you can get your money back on these. But this is definitely something, these fees will add up over time. So you want to make sure, just as you're doing your structuring and making it of your product, that you're optimizing. At the end of the day, you're not going to be able to change too much, but if you're right on the edge, definitely worth your time. So just note that anything like 2 pounds or over, you're going to have a large item, and it's going to be $4.71 and then 38 cents a pound over that. All right, so with Amazon, you have to take into account the pounds, but you also have to take into account the dimensions. All right, so if we look at this, it may say large, 1 pound or less, but you have to look at the dimensions here. So it's 18 inches or less on its longest side, and somehow they recategorized mine to 19 inches for some reason. And that's what got me. So I was like, hey, no, this is 17 inches. Had to send that into them. And then, yep. So just look at the different dimensions for each one of these. And then here is the kicker. You do not want to get into oversized, okay? Because like let's say something were to be, let's say something were to get to 19 inches. All right, you are now going to be an oversized product, and that's going to be $813 per unit. So it could be super small and 18.2 inches, and now you're going to go from $241 to $813. That's a huge change, and that's probably all of your profit depending on your price point. So definitely make sure to look at these. And the kicker is that anything that is oversized is going to be less profitable, especially if you have a large oversize. And you may not think of it, but we wanted to just read how these exactly work. So my friend and I were trying to import massage chairs, and it is great. We're going to innovate and make some really cool gaming chairs and sponsor some influencers. And it was a great business model. It had built-in speakers, a massaging chair. It was at a great price point and everything. But the main issue was it was just slightly too big. All right. So essentially we were going to get charged into these extremely large, oversized. And what was the price going to be? I don't even remember, but Amazon was going to charge us like $240 to ship these chairs out. And that was just, whereas we could do it for about, what, $60 with LTL. So if we were to get our own shipping, but then now we had to get a 3PL, to manage all of this, and then handling returns and stuff. So we decided not to go forward with it just because of the fee structure. And then you're going to pay crazy amounts for storage. So that is that's just like our story that we went through. So if you're selling in large, oversized products, that's going to be typically the area where you're going to have to do fulfilled by merchant. For everything else, I really suggest you use FBA because it's going to make your life a lot easier. Yeah, so you're going to have to manage so many other things if you're doing fulfilled by merchant. You're going to have to handle the returns. You're going to have to handle the customer service. You're going to have to handle the refunding of money, which can be good because people are less likely to commit fraud if you're doing that. And then the other ones that you're going to have to manage are going to be shipping. Like you have to do that, and then inventory warehousing, making sure the right things get shipped out. There's just so much more overhead, and you have to buy postage. And if it's a small item, Amazon will have cheaper shipping rates than you can even do it. You get 2-day shipping with Amazon FBA, and you get a listing boost and higher conversions if it's FBA. So there's just so many benefits to using FBA that I refuse to do fulfilled by merchant ever again, because we tried to ship out $500,000 of orders in one day by fulfilled by merchant, and it was a nightmare. Let me tell you, I was afraid I was going to lose my account forever because we messed up big time. All right, so that's an overview. If you want to take a look more, go to the link down there, and I really suggest you just kind of understand how this fee structure works for yourself, because if you know how a system works, you can optimize. And if you don't know how a system works, you're just running blind on your business. So there's also storage fees per month. All right, so they are different during different times of the year. The only times that they're different are October, December. So essentially quarter 4, they're 4 times as much. But to be honest, these fees aren't that much. If you are selling your inventory pretty well, they're not going to add up. But what will kill you is going to be FBA long-term storage fees. So essentially, if you have product that's there for 6 months or more, then you're going to run into issues. Now, the way that they calculate this is a little bit different than you think. So essentially, they'll look at your sales. They'll look at your sales and see, okay, well, based off how much inventory you have here and your sales, like how long do you have excess inventory that's actually been here for 6 months or more? So definitely read how this works and the calculations so that you know if you're going to run into long-term storage fees. So you're going to get charged at $11.25 per cubic foot. And that is crazy. That is what? Over the 69 cents originally, that's about 15 to 18 times higher. So definitely don't get stuck in paying long-term storage fees. And then if it's there for more than a year, now you're going to pay this fee. But this fee is on top of the original storage fee. So you're going to get killed. So there's an automatic setting on Amazon where you can have it. So it automatically will return those long-term storage fees, or return those items that are subject to the long-term storage fee to your warehouse or wherever your location is, so that you don't run into this issue, because this can be pretty pretty substantial. And on the other side, if you don't have the automated long-term storage fees, you could still do this manually. So the times that they're going to do it, I think August and February of each year, they do it. Yeah, that's about it. I've never run into long-term storage fees, so my products have always moved in fast enough, so I've never had this. But some people do run into the issue, especially if you're doing retail arbitrage with books, or you have some very seasonal products and some are left over. So I actually have gotten long-term storage fees on my some of my Eclipse classes that were left over, but they were so small cubic foot wise that it was like whatever, not an issue. The next fee that we're going to talk about with Amazon is the FBA removal order fees. So essentially, if you're going to return an item to yourself, it's going to cost 50 cents an item. And then if you're going to dispose of the item, it's going to be 15 cents. So this you're going to get run into if you need to remove the product because of the long-term storage fees. But more importantly, all your returns, I really suggest you have your returns set up. Don't have Amazon auto resell your returns, because guess what? It's not going to be top quality, and they'll sell it as new and it's clearly used, and then you get negative reviews and your customers are not going to be happy. I'll talk about that more later in the course, but definitely don't let that happen to you. Yeah, so I've never used this liquidation program either. So I don't have an educated opinion on it. Maybe somebody else does. Maybe somebody could comment down below, but typically I really don't see a reason why you would want to liquidate anything. All right, so the last thing that I guess I would say is there's this concept of cubic feet, okay? That's how everything is based off of. So you're going to take the inches multiplied, like you take all the dimensions of your product, and that's going to be your cubic feet or your cubic inches. Okay, so the way that you're going to calculate your storage fees, essentially when you look on your Amazon inventory in your account, it'll tell you it'll tell you the amount of cubic feet that your product is, and then you could just calculate it that way. Or if you want to do it by hand, it's just length times width times height divided by 1,728, and that gives you your how much cubic feet that it is. So that is the last of the FBA fees. Now what we will get into is, all right, so what are the pitfalls? The main pitfalls that you're going to run into are probably long-term storage fees and not choosing the right category fee, where you could be getting a lower fee like me, $168,000, because I didn't read the fucking manual. So always read the rules and understand how it works, and then you could take advantage or get the maximum out of your business. So I've learned so much by reading all the IRS rules, all the Amazon rules, and everything. I'm able to get money back and maximize my business, because sometimes as you scale and get larger and you're working on a 20% margin, you might be finding a way to ink out another 2 or 3, 4% margin, and that is like to a 10 to 20% more profit. So that's quite a bit. If you're an 8-figure seller, that's $200,000 to $400,000 more by just reading the rules and doing them right. So that is quite significant. So sometimes Amazon will incorrectly charge you for these fees. Amazon might charge you more monthly storage. They might incorrectly size your item, or they might give you the wrong referral fee. So you'll want to check on those. And I have videos on that in the reimbursement section. So, but you want to make sure, like, just as you're selling, every once in a while, go look at your fees and make sure that they are what they should be, because going back and getting cases done is just extra work. If you catch the problem right when it starts, now you don't have to go through and submit 100,000 cases on 100,000 items. It's not the most fun. So that's my suggestion for everybody. All right, so now I want to talk about why these fees are worth every single penny. I've kind of alluded to it earlier, but we're going to go over it now more in depth. All right, you guys, so they're going to handle the customer service, and that is great, because you're still going to get messages and you need to respond to your customers, but more stuff like, hey, it didn't arrive on time. When's it going to arrive? I need to cancel the order, blah, blah, blah. They do all of that, and they can scale, and so that's part of it. The referral fee, I mean, you're going to get charged a credit card processing fee of 3% on any place that you go anyways if you have a Shopify store. So that's built into the referral fee. Now, you're going to get better shipping rates by using Amazon FBA than you could anywhere else. They'll get there in 2 days, do the customer service, handle the packaging, get the actual packaging, ship it out, store it, do all of that for less than you could buy the postage. So they have so much scale and negotiating power with all these other companies in the world, such as UPS and whatnot, that you just can't do this on your own. And you don't have to warehouse and store. And there's actually, I had to build such creative ways to organize and ship out all of these different products in the warehouse, all these different packaging sizes and whatnot, and then make sure we were all shipping and putting the right shipping labels on. I had to buy shipping labels. It just really adds up to essentially not costing you anything more. You don't have to have management of all of this stuff. You get it there in 2 days. And then by having Amazon FBA, you are going to, because it's there in 2 days, and Amazon boosts products that are FBA versus ones that are FBM. So that's another incentive to use the FBA program. So all of these reasons add up to you should be doing FBA. And yeah, the fees are high and some people complain about it, but guess what? That's just the way that the name of the game. And by using this, you're getting access to the world's largest buying customer base. This is the search engine for products. You can get instant access to hundreds of millions of buyers instantly and have a full fulfillment team working for you. All right, so you can essentially hire and get you get access to hundreds of millions of people. You get a full staff of people doing customer service, shipping, warehousing, everything. They handle all of it. All you got to do is get them a product and make sure to have good customer service and good marketing on the platform, but the customer's already there. So when you add it all up, this is the ultimate outsourcing, and it's a great agreement. There are some downfalls to it, but as long as you keep track of what's going on and make sure that there's no errors and catch them early, it's definitely worth it. So I hope that you guys understand these fees. So if you have any other questions about fees, let me know. There are some more fees which we didn't cover in this video, but they're more fringe cases that don't happen too often. So those are covered more so in the reimbursement section when we go through and we're like, wait, what was this fee or that fee? Did we get incorrectly charged? So don't be scared by these fees. Just know how they work for the product you're looking to source. And I hope that you guys understand the fees and don't make the same mistake that I did, because I really wish I would have read these fees just in depth when making my product. So the last thing that I'm going to say is, by understanding how these fees work, you can actually get product opportunities that might not look good. So everybody else may be in the oversized category, but you find a way to package or do it differently, get the same effect, you have the same product, but now you're in the small size and everybody's in oversized, and you can now come in and get a much better margin compared to everybody else who maybe isn't packaging it that way. So definitely a good way to grow your business is understanding how the fees work and working within the system correctly. So another parting word, don't get overwhelmed by these fees, because just watch the next video and they have a fee calculator where it tells you pretty much, you just put in your competitor's product and it tells you the exact fees that you'll be paying, and you can just get an estimate right there. But you just want to dig deep into these fees when you're sourcing to just see if you can get that extra like arbitrage opportunity. So yeah, hope that this was a helpful video for you guys.